This uniform here, I decorated in honor of one of my classmates, Lary Fogel. Larry grew up in Lawrenceburg, and he was the first one from Dearborn County killed in action in Vietnam. 2 years ago, I was giving the Veterans Day speech at South Dearborn Elementary School, and I knew Larry's sister was going to be there, and his sister's daughter, and then her little boy, so 3 generations of the Fogle family. And I surprised them, and I had this uniform covered up next to the podium where I was speaking. And I said, she was only 6 years old when Larry was killed. I said, I've got something that I want to show you. I decorated in honor of Larry, dressed greens. And you can see it has the blue infantry rope, and it has his PFC stripe on it, his Presidential Unit Citation, Meritorious Unit in Vietnam Unit Citation, Fogle, his infantry, U.S. and Infantry Cross Rifles with the blue disc in the background, his CIB, Combat Infantryman's Badge, and then his airborne wings. See over here, he was 173rd Airborne, and he was awarded 2 Purple Hearts in Vietnam. That's a Purple Heart, represents the Purple Heart Medal with an oak leaf cluster showing a subsequent award, and then his Bronze Star with V for Valor. Larry was born December the 16th, 1947. He was in my class, but really he should have been a year behind, being that birthday that late in the year. And wound up there were about 12 or 13 kids in that family. And Larry, when we were juniors in high school, he wanted to go into the Army. He wanted to make a career out of it. So he talked his mom and dad into signing for him to drop out of school and go to the Army. And he said besides, he would be making some money and he could send money home to him. And that was another thing. We found some letters last year when I gave the speech at South Dearborn Elementary School. I had those letters, and his sister had never read a letter that Larry had written from Vietnam. So I made copies of them and presented them to her, and we're going to frame the others and preserve them. But Larry went to Vietnam, and he was wounded when he was only 17 years old. And they had a controversy back here in the United States, and they said that's too young to be in combat, so they pulled him out. And on December 16th, 1965, Larry turned 18. He said, hey, I can go back out with the guys. And when you read some of his letters, they were going up into the area in 65 and opening up around Cu Chi, where I eventually went. They were going on missions up through there and sweeps. And he was talking about, you know, losing some of his buddies and some of them being wounded and all. But he went back out in the field with his unit, and 4 days later, on December the 20th, 1965, Larry Fogle was killed in action. And a lot of times when I give speeches at schools, I'll ask the high school kids, I'll say, how many of you students in attendance here today are older than 18 years and 4 months? And there are several hands that go up. So you realize really how young he was. The letter's there where he told his mom, he said, go to the American State Bank and borrow $300 for Christmas. He said, I want the kids to have a good Christmas. And this was Christmas of 65, right? He was killed 5 days before Christmas. And he said, people at the bank know me, and they know I'm in the Army. And he said, tell them I'll send them $100 a month for 3 months to repay it, but I want you guys to have a good Christmas. And then jokingly, he said, besides, he said, if I get killed, you're going to get $10,000. And it was just a couple weeks later that he was killed. And but he just wanted to have a better life for the kids. And I said, Terry, you were too young to remember and participate in Larry. I said, but we're going to honor him with a burial flag here today and show these kids what we do when a veteran passes away. So it's our duty to make sure they're never forgotten. On behalf of the President of the United States, the Secretary of the Army, and a grateful nation, please accept this American flag as a token of appreciation for the faithful and dedicated service of your brother Larry. It's because of young men like him who answered the call to serve that we're able to enjoy the many freedoms we have today in the USA. As a proud Vietnam veteran and a member of the 173rd Airborne,
he gave his life in Vietnam so that we can enjoy the lifestyle we have today. He truly understood the meaning of those words: duty, honor, country. May God bless you, your family, and the United States of America. And because of young men like Lary Dale Fogel, we can all continue to live the American dream. May he rest in eternal peace.